Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Liz. I'm a medical technologist and pharmaceutical chemist with over 30 years of experience in the medical and pharmaceutical industry. I'm here talking to you today because we are at December 30th of the time of this recording, 2025, which means we only have a couple of days left until it is a new year. 2026 is right around the corner. And what happens when you get close to January 1st of each year? Well, you have an explosion of people who are suffering from a lot of regret.
My whole life has just been a series of regret after regret after regret.
They wish that they would have lost a bunch of weight.
So my weekest goal is that my New Year's resolution is going to be to lose 2 pounds.
Or they wish that they would have gotten healthier, or they wish they would have gotten another job.
But I said I don't care if they lay me off either, because I told Bill that if they move my desk one more time, then I'm quitting. I'm going to quit. And I told Dom too, because they've moved my desk 4 times already this year, and I used to be over by the window and I could see the squirrels, and they were married, but then they switched from the swing line to the Boston stapler, but I kept my swing line stapler because it didn't bind up as much, and I kept the staples for the swing line stapler.
Okay, Milton.
There's all kinds of things that people actually ruminate over because all the regret just comes down crashing on their head. And so what they do is they make a New Year's resolution.
Yeah, maybe get a shrink. How about you?
I'm gonna stop eating carbs, be nicer to my mom, become the next successor.
My New Year's resolution is to find out if those of yours are as pointy as your ears.
I have feelings about New Year's resolutions that are not exactly positive. I think that one of the reasons we have all these New Year's resolutions is because of all the times that we actually abuse ourselves and eat garbage food and drink liquor and do all the things that make us feel like crap. A lot of it happens at the end of the year. And so the New Year's resolution is just because we're crawling out of the ditch and we can't take anymore. Possibly, or I could be wrong. It's happened. Now, I will be doing a video on how to begin carnivore in 2026. Because, I've learned some things. I've been a carnivore for 3 years. And it cured all my medical conditions. And I lost 100 pounds. It's been great. But I have learned things along the way that I'd like to share. So, I will do a new and improved 2026 how to begin carnivore type of video soon. However, today, I would like to give you the number one tip for 2026 success, not just in diet, but in all things. The most important piece of advice that I can share with you that will change your life if you do adopt this principle. So, it's something very important that I think that we should talk about right here on the Carnivore Science Channel. But first, to frame this discussion properly, I have a little story. One day, my son was watching me cook dinner. I was making 80-20 hamburger patties, as I do, and I was pouring the grease over top of the patties as I plated them. And I think I had butter in there too, because I usually add a little bit of butter. I noticed that he was cringe watching the entire process, and even had a look of disgust on his face. He then uttered the words I know that a lot of you have heard about a gazillion times before. Isn't that bad for you? Isn't it going to clog your arteries and cause heart disease? I took a very deep breath, expelled it, and then I launched into well, actually, animal fat is critical, and the whole heart disease thing, well, you need to go research the sugar industry. So he picks up his phone and he calls his physician. Dr. Google, and he started reading off the following: saturated fat is bad, cholesterol is bad, LDL bad, red meat causes cancer, blabbity blabbity blue, and heart disease and diabetes. I looked at him wondering why I allowed him to receive a mostly public education, feeling very sad for his poor little propaganda brain. And I said, quite simply, please Stop drinking the damn Kool-Aid. He looked at me confused and he said, why do you say things that make no sense? What does that even mean? Then I reminded myself, oh yeah, public education. You know, the place that you go so that you don't learn any history.
Excellent. Fine motor skills, Dooley. You're the class super duper champ of the morning.
So I had to teach him about the origins of the phrase. Now, I didn't get very far with him on the nutritional front, but it got me thinking. You know, if he didn't know about this very valuable historical account, and many of you out there may not either, so it's worth a brief explanation. And I'm not saying this because I think that anyone out there who does not know what this means or the fact that he didn't know what it means. I'm not calling anybody dumb. My son's actually very intelligent, believe it or not. But he's heavily influenced by propaganda. In fact, we have all been victims of a really hardcore marketing push, especially when it comes to nutrition. Some of the most effective marketing campaigns in the history of Western civilization have been to promote everything from agriculture to diets. But first, let me explain the whole Kool-Aid thing. The phrase drinking the Kool-Aid originates from the 1978 Jonestown Massacre, where over 900 members of the People's Temple died by ingesting a cyanide-laced drink mix, which was actually Flavor Aid, but it's often misremembered as Kool-Aid. Probably largely due to the fact that don't drink the Flavor Aid just doesn't roll off the tongue, you know? And besides, Flavor Aid is like the budget version of Kool-Aid. But since then, the phrase, stop drinking the Kool-Aid, has become a widely used idiom for blindly following a destructive idea. In essence, it describes a radical, unquestioning loyalty stemming from real-life horror where people literally drank poison for an authority figure. But anyway, this is the most important mission that I offer to you should you choose to accept it for 2026. Stop drinking the damn Kool-Aid. It is the first step to success in almost anything that you set out to do, in my humble opinion. Not just on nutrition, but everything else. And our discussion today, though, is going to be limited to basically nutrition and health and center around diet because that's what the channel's about. But my point is there are a lot of Kool-Aid drinkers in the nutrition space today. They're just taking their marching orders and they're spouting their talking points, mainly to keep the status quo, screaming about my studies. Nothing triggers me like my studies. Anyway, my point is, and I go back to this very important thing that we all need to remember. Have you been fat forever and miserable? Have you tried about everything that you can try to actually make things better and nothing works? Have you gone to Jenny Craig and Weight Watchers and have you tried the cabbage diet and you've tried all the shakes and the supplements and all of the products and they didn't work? And you honestly did them and they did not work. That is called failure. Okay? These things failed. An authority figure probably told you to do them and you did. And they failed. Just like when I went seeking help with, well, my weight for one, but I also went seeking help for my indigestion, my acid reflux, my insomnia, my fibromyalgia, my arthritis, my IT band syndrome, and all of these things. Years and years of my 17 years of narcotics. You know, that's what they gave me. All they did was mitigate symptoms. No one could ever fix anything. And do you know what the definition of that is? These are medical professionals. So by definition, they were supposed to help me. They failed miserably. It is set up to make you fail miserably. You're not supposed to succeed. That's the trick. That's the secret. You are not supposed to be healed. You are supposed to just mitigate symptoms and just load up on the drugs. I had a big old pile of drugs that I was taking. It's ridiculous. So the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. Okay? So that's what we've been doing as a society. Most of us would go to the doctor, we would get a bunch of crappy drugs, they would cause problems, and we would go back to the same doctor and we listened to what they said. If you keep doing the same thing over and over again, nothing in your life is going to get any better and nothing's going to change. I will say for the record, I am not a physician and I cannot give you medical advice. But what I can do is tell you, if you keep drinking the authority-biased Kool-Aid, your life is not going to get any better. So that is my simple message. The most critical thing that you can do for yourself first, before you venture out to try anything else, is to stop drinking the damn Kool-Aid. Please. Do your own research. Critically think for yourself. Take charge of your own health. And I will be doing the 2026 guide to going carnivore, a beginner's guide, just in case you haven't done it and you want to try to start, but you're not sure what the best way to go about it is. I know that there was a lot of things that I learned kind of the hard way, and it is helpful to know what somebody went through so that you can actually not make the same kind of mistakes. You know, you still have to try for yourself. Like, you can't do exactly what I did necessarily. But there are things that are universal when you actually go carnivore that is a good idea just across the board. So I'll cover all of those things and talk about my experience, and hopefully that'll be helpful to you guys. But let me know what you think of this message. I know it's very straightforward and high level, and it's very basic. This is not a complicated message, but I think it's one of the most important things that we can do for ourselves. And I mean that 100%. I think that as a former Kool-Aid drinker, it was something I had to get over. I had to conquer my Kool-Aid addiction before I ended up fixing everything on carnivore. I would have never been successful if I didn't first dump out the Kool-Aid. So let me know what you think of this message, and I'll be interested to see what your comments are, as always. And if you haven't subscribed, I think I'm 10 subscribers away from 3,000, so I'm almost there. If you would subscribe, I would really appreciate it if you like the content. And if you like this video, if you could hit the like button, I'd really appreciate it. And make sure you hit the notification bell so that you don't miss out on future videos or live streams. And again, thank you so much for watching till the end, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.